Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to have a talk about the Haradrim and specifically how they work within the raid. We're also going to have a little bit of a chat about chapter 2 of the raid, so stay tuned for that. First of all, I do want to apologize. The background footage did not seem to record for the raid that I did last night. So we're just going to have to sub this in for the time being. Then I'll give you some other footage of the raid with the elves and my failed attempts at trying difficulty level 4. Now, over the weekend, the devs did come out and say that the Haradrim will be perfect for chapter 2 of the raid because it is a single boss. This is actually one of the things that I did say when they first announced the Haradrim. I thought chapter 2 would be where they actually shine. They have confirmed that, probably so that they could try and get some more sales on some of these characters. Since they are generics, I do think that the sales were down a little bit, so they wanted to try and prop that up. But I did put the team together. I did put Grimper in as the 5th one, just as that extra taunt, because I didn't really have a lot of other characters to throw in there at the time. They actually performed a lot better than I thought. I did start out with chapter 1, just to see if I could max it out at 100,000, and then if I could, I was going to move up to chapter 2 to try and better that. I ended up maxing out chapter 1 fairly easily. Going up to chapter 2, I didn't quite have the gear on them to do really well. I did manage to get 120,000 out of them. So once you put a little bit of gear on them, and we do get that 5th member of the team, I do believe that they will be quite viable for chapter 1, maybe not as a top tier team, but you are going to get a decent score out of them. You'll probably be able to max out tier 2, maybe get onto tier 3 with them, and put a few 100,000 points on the board for yourself and for your guild. There are still a lot of players out there that are a little bit confused on where they should focus their attention, who they should be working on, who they should leave behind. When it comes to building your team, if you want to look at a light side team and a shadow team that you can build up, the Haradrim are definitely someone that you can build up. They are free to play. You can farm them pretty easily. The 2 marquees, obviously, you'll have to leave at 3 stars for now until they become more farmable down the track, but that's completely up to you. But the fact that they will be really good for chapter 2 makes them a very important team within the raid. They'll also be very good for your campaigns and challenges and things like that, so there's no risk in actually farming these guys and building them up to that top gear level, because they will be very good for the game in the immediate future. Now, if you are currently doing a raid and you want to try the Haradrim out, I have seen a couple of good results putting Gaza in as that 5th member of the team. I've seen a few results well over 200,000 points. So you can put a little bit of a team together with them already and have a bit of success there. Now, when it comes to chapter 2, guilds are going to have a look at a couple of things to make sure that they qualify. First thing, you want to make sure that you're getting 100% on chapter 1. If you do have a few members that are struggling in your guild, try and work with them. If everyone can get an average around 500,000 points for their 5 runs, then you will go through to chapter 2. If you don't get to that 100%, it doesn't matter whether chapter 2 is available or not, you won't be able to unlock it. Now, the next thing that we're going to talk about is the actual release of it. As of recording this, they haven't said exactly when this will drop. They just said it will happen next week. So if you've just finished a raid and you guys are starting to build up your keys again, just be aware that if you do start it sort of early or mid next week, chapter 2 may not drop before you start it. It might be worth just holding on for an extra 1 or 2 days, just in case they do drop that, so you get to play both chapters. Otherwise, you're going to have to wait another week to have a go at chapter 2. You can stockpile up to 2,500 keys, so it may be worth just waiting a little bit longer, because the rewards will be much better if you do get to compete in 2 chapters rather than just the 1. Now, in regards to teams, I think we'll see a lot wider variety of teams that could be a bit more effective in Chapter 2. So some of the ones like Isengard that don't quite get the benefits of that team with the passive healing in Chapter 1, you should see a lot more benefit from them in Chapter 2 without having to focus on so many enemies, and you will get to have that passive healing, so they should be able to last a lot longer in battle. But just like Chapter 1, make sure that you are doing several attempts, try a few different combinations, see what actually works, and don't be afraid to experiment with some higher difficulty levels. You don't have to bank the points, so if you do try something and it doesn't work, just go back. You can do a different difficulty level, try and get a better score, and the same goes for if you do max the score on one difficulty level, you may actually have your characters powerful enough to try the one above that and beat that maximum score from the lower level and post a better score for yourself and for your guild. We've been waiting a few months to get some decent payouts and more game modes in the game, so make sure you're taking advantage of that. Don't just post the first score that you get, because you're only doing yourself out of rewards. So let's hope Chapter 2 does drop early to mid next week so everyone can get a go at that in their next raid. I will bring you the full Haradrim team so that we can have a little bit of a better look at how they function in both Chapters 1 and 2, and I'll make sure that I record the footage properly for you guys to see that. I was impressed with what I saw so far, so the full team I do have some big expectations for, but that's it for this one, guys. Don't forget, like and sub, you know the deal. We got plenty more Heroes of Middle-earth coming your way. Don't miss out, and we'll catch you in the next one.